Hey, hello everyone. Good afternoon. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. My name is Abidogun Lukman, and I will be your host for today on Inspire Fireside Start. So, and I will be welcoming our guest, our distinguished guest, Mr. Felix Tukuboikem Amefule. I hope I correct or pronounce that correct. Mr. Felix, can you hear me?
Yes, you did well. You did.
Okay. Thank you for coming and thank you for joining us. For viewers, I know some of you been participating before now, and you also believe we have a new viewers or rather entrepreneurs who are just joining us for today. So please, we would like you to introduce yourself, your business or startup name, and location where you're watching out from. But before that, I would like to run a quick profile on Mr. Felix, which is our guest for today. And by that, Mr. Felix is a renowned leader in design, digital manufacturing, and educational technology. Mr. Felix has over 15 years of experience in product development, program management, product management, and instructional corporate training as well. He is a dedicated, empowering in the ecosystem. Mr. Felix has worked in both non-profit and for-profit sectors and is passionate about inspiring others to create exceptional things. He leads a transformative team at Generative Card Services Limited. He's also a founder of Generative Card Services Limited, developing an e-learning academy for designing, engineering, product development, and generative design. Generative Card Services Limited is a customer-centric product development company that offers they offer the on-demand hardware solutions and a comprehensive online uh, product development academy. I beg your pardon. The company partners with industry leaders like SolidWorks, Autodesk, FlashForge 3D printers, and SICMake and others to provide comprehensive on-demand design, product development, and digital manufacturing solution. So I think with that, I would like to keep it simple and keep it short. Then I also uh, use that opportunity to invite our guest to dive into a conversation with him on the topic disrupting the market, how to innovate in the crowded space. Mr. Felix, I don't, if you're ready, and if you can hear me loud and clear, I would like you to also reintroduce yourself and let our viewers be able to hear you
Okay, thank you so much. I believe you can hear me clearly.
loud and clear, sir.
Okay, so once again, my name is Chukwubikam Felix Amefili, the founder and CEO of Generative Card. So just more like it, my person of many portfolios. So, but let's keep it that simple. Maybe we'll probably will get to know much about it later around when we get to have the chat and get to dive more better in the conversation. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Felix, for that brief introduction. For our viewers, we would also like you to engage. You can go to the comment section on the YouTube and type your name and your business name or business name to be, because I believe we also have newcomers who or aspire entrepreneurs who also want to learn from one or two things from our guests. So you can as well join us and also participate. Please kindly comment your name, your business name, and your location so that we know who also is joining us and where you're joining us from. Okay, so that's that. So regarding the topics, I would like uh, Mr. Felix to give us a brief introduction on it and also take us through the topic before I ask a lot of questions that put down in place. And I want to believe our audience also are ready to learn, just like I'm also ready to learn. And I want to believe they also have their questions in place. So, Mr. Felix, if you'd like to do us the honor, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think a few months ago, yeah, or at least less than a year now, there was a data that was populated as saying that the world is made up of 8 billion people, right? And that's a whole lot, right? So when we say that's already crowded, right? What to say, but and there is, and also it's still a situation where we have a lot of natural resources, a lot of resources. So we live in a time where the the natural resources is decreasing, while the population that the natural resources is supporting is increasing, right? So it's a time where we it's a kind of a special time in the world, or a time where you are expected to do more with less, right? So that has to be a lot with efficiency, effectiveness, and all that. And this is why you see a lot of people having to go into technologies that could actually drive innovations to really make things faster, better, add more values, and also reduce cost, because that cost is very, very very critical. So yes, so for us to really kind of disrupt the market, especially when they say in a crowded space like the world we live in, it's requires for us to understand the dynamics of what we are living already, especially when there are more cars to build, there are more food to eat, there are more roads to build, but the natural resources that have to be used to translate these things are shrinking day by day. So waste is becoming something that is no longer tolerable. Something, maybe it's level of waste that can be tolerated maybe in the last 5, 10 years. Today that level of waste cannot be tolerated because if the consequences is higher. So let me stop here. And this also applies to businesses, not just individuals, but really businesses, and how businesses really get to shape and do things.
Okay, so okay, let's go about. I would like to ask you, can you share with us, I mean, with the full your journey as an entrepreneur and what inspired you to enter a crowd market? Okay.
Okay, so first is really starting around, like I said, I didn't just leave school and just start out the company. Even though there were some initial attempts, but I discovered that I needed experience, right? That experience is very key. There are three key things that were quite very important for me, that I need to go back to work and really get that experience before coming back to business, which was building capacity, experience, and access, right? Because these three things, are quite even more important than the money. We talk about raising money, yes, but we talk about ideas, yes. But if you building capacity, because even when investors are investing in you, they're not really necessarily, yes, you might have a great idea, but at that early idea stage or pre-revenue, they're really investing on startup, on the founders, not really necessarily the products, right? Because a great product with a very with non-performing founders would definitely fail. But you can find a way that very performing founders with an average product can succeed, right? So at that stage is very critical. So building capacity is one. Also having to understand experiences, not just on theories, right? So that experience of having to see how things work, especially in the industry you really want to get to dive in, is also very critical. And then I would say is really access, because when you're building experiences, you're having connections, you're building access to the people, to the right man, to the people probably you will partner with, to even the people you serve as customers tomorrow. So it's really very critical around, that was like my journey. And then, and in all the organization I've worked with, I have had that mindset, or because I knew what I was looking for, I had that mindset, even when I may not be the entrepreneur, but I had to discover the word entrepreneur, having to, which was like it's something similar to an entrepreneur, but somebody who is an organization, yes, is not bearing the risk, but always thinking outside the box and taking charge of things without having to say, oh, it's within my limit of my job role, but always somebody that is going to go above and beyond. Because as an entrepreneur, you probably will die many times and also rise many times through it. So having to be down in a situation when you are an employee to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? So that's one of the things that also I've been an entrepreneur, especially in a system, allows you to do, and that was really my journey to that. And for me, what really inspired me is I have always wanted to create and add value, right? So for me, everything is around building value driven. So if it's not adding value, then I don't think I should waste my time. So that importance of having to add value to lives, having to add value to the general ecosystem has always been my driving force. And I can't add value when I lack this, where I lack the experience, capacity, and access. So it has to be within the context of what I have built over time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Experience, capacity, and access. Okay, so uh, let me further ask. I want to believe our viewers also would like to know this, but this is a question that always pops in my head. Like, how did you identify? How can a startup identify or upcoming startup identify the gaps in the market that led to a business idea? So if I have to put it straight to you, I'll say, okay, how did you identify the gaps in the market that led to your business idea?
Okay, so it's not really something that you like is oh there's a new record somewhere. It's an accumulated experience and unintentional market research, if I would say. Working within the space where you are intending to, I was intending to, establish my organization, my company. So it was really serving people in the different in different roles I played as this product development lead down to program manager down to product manager and all that, and design manager as well in at my early stage. So it was very clear of the need about capacity development, right? Which I knew that in this part of the world that we are very lacking. And my last page, employment aside, my current organization, which I'm also an employee even as a founder, right? So I before I transitioned into starting up a company, I've been part of the people who started the company. I transitioned into consulting, right? So I left the being a studying as an independent consultant, and that also exposed me to a whole lot of gaps of what companies we are facing. There was a lot of gaps that I knew that people were selling. A lot of people were interested in selling, but very few were interested in offering value. And I also saw that there was a very key need about that partnership is very key. How can I partner with you as an organization to drive value for you? So, and if I can add value to you and you grow, definitely I will grow. Let me say, if I'm selling number of quantities of let me say, if I'm selling training now, let me say that, and then you have 5 engineers, and I'm able to take your 5 engineers to the point of capacity that they can increase productivity, and you are expanding, it means that you probably will hire more engineers. And by hiring more engineers means that you will have more people to train with for you. So your growth also being interested in people's growth, and also that translates to our own growth because we're going to have more people to serve. So it's really around that define the gap around value systems and the drawing need analysis are really what people want. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So, I'd like to look at this other question. So, how do you ensure that you are always aligned with customers' evolving needs in a crowded space? You know,
Oh, yeah. So that's really a
do
very
that again.
yes. So no, I'm good. I heard you clearly. So that's
Okay.
really a
Okay.
very interesting question, especially a very deep one. But I will just probably try as much as possible to answer that. It comes in different sectors and in different forms, especially trends, because you need to know, for especially for some of us who serve in B2B, right? Because 70% of the customers are businesses and 30% are business are individuals. So you really need to know about what is interest, what's the trends in this industry, what are the industry trends, how to follow those industry trends that the customers stay that revolve around that within your customers industries, and also what is like how is what is the objectives and financial implications, what are the goals and visions of short-term visions and long-term visions of some of those organizations, and how is since we are a technology providing company, so how could in that mix technologies, whether today's or emerging technologies, be able to transform and enable those companies achieve their goals and objective. And so this trend is very critical, and also it has to also be constant reevaluation and conducting of need analysis. So you need to actually understand what they need or at what points they are in, and also at a point where you also need to really understand what will be, how will whatever you think you're offering them or we're going to offer your customers bring or increase ROI. Because it's also important that okay, for the users of the maybe the technology products, theirs is to really make sure that okay, they are able to reduce errors or maybe just do their work and more efficiently. And then for the managers of those people, theirs is also thinking about how can I help people so that I can maximize the productivity of my people and give them the right tools that they can actually be more productive and deliver for our department. For VPs, like people in VPs or CTOs or CEOs, or depending on the organization, theirs is really around whatever they are doing, how does it translate to financial terms? Right? How does it increase revenue? And how does it, reduce operational cost or increase revenue? So if it's not doing these two things, people in the C levels and VPs, are not interested, right? So you have to understand how this really impacts them, and to is in this context, that really helps us to keep reevaluating, because the customers, even individuals, have constant change of tastes and preferences, and company's vision does not remain the same. And also in technology advancement, and if 5 years ago there are things and solutions where we were talking about generative AI, right, at the scale we are talking about today, and companies are talking about it, and also so that's as affecting companies. So if you're providing technologies, you need to understand how would that help the company stay competitive, how would they make, how would really translate to ROI, increase ROI, return of investment, and how would that make them stand out in capacity, in brand, and in efficiency. So I think if we're always asking these questions, and then also following the industry trends, it becomes a little bit more easier to keep evolving, because again, if we don't evolve, we die. So and then if our companies we're serving is evolving, and the companies that we that are serving the company are not evolving, definitely will be out of business, because they wouldn't want to, because we will be dragging them back, right? So we need to be at the pace of living faster, moving faster than they are, so that we can take them to the point where we are in. So we always need to be a step ahead of the people we are serving. Otherwise, we can't deliver, we can't offer value to them. Thank you.
Incredible. So we need to get ahead the people who have nice. Okay, so to next question. I still have more questions to ask, and I want to believe the viewer as well will have their, and I'm still expecting some of their comments. Like I want them to introduce themselves, please, your name, where you're watching from, which is your location, then your business name as a startup or aspire to be a startup, whichever one works for you. Just tell us something. Let's know who also is here with us. And if you have a question, you can as well just go towards the comments below, comment section rather, then you put in your question, send it to us, we'll definitely read it out for you. and I believe my guest in the studio is ready to help you out. So, Mr. Felix, back to you, sir. How do you think a startup should differentiate brand from the competition, and what was your own unique selling proposition in your own case?
So
Felix,
it's
can you
really
hear me?
yes. So it's really around the context of better understanding of customer needs, right? Because we cannot solve what we do not understand, and no matter how we brand ourselves, no matter what we claim that we address ourselves, our brands are ultimately defined by our customers. It is what our customers say we are that we are truly are, right? So it's not what Apple says they are, but rather it is what the people who use their products, right? The people who really use their products say they are. That's what rather defines Apple. So and the same quite moves into different companies and all that. So it's really in that context of around understanding customer needs and constantly building capacity, like capacity development. Because if you are able to deliver, even your competitors will come to you to collaborate. If you're able to deliver in a very high capacity, they might be able to sometimes get the business before because of some one or two assets they have and all that. But majority of them will probably come to you if you can deliver in the highest level. So what that means that you are not leaving money on the table, right? And then secondly is a really strategic partnership. What are the key partnerships, local and international partnership that can actually help you to increase your efficiency and capacity? Strategic partnerships are very, very core. And then I will also say that every single person in the company, not just the company page, should be very interested in intentional storytelling because we are the biggest, um, people who promote our business. Like, so we are the biggest fan. So if you don't talk about what you do, or you don't say how good or how you are, or also encourage your customers to impute, like being intentional about telling your stories is very critical because if you don't, nobody will, right? So I can't be invested in somebody's business who is not as invested as is. I can't be more invested in your business more than you are invested in that business, right? So if you're part of the business, it's very important to be like, oh, it's not about being media shy and all that. And most of us, I'm an introvert, right? So right, but when that extrovert part of me, I have to build it out, right? So it's not about if
I guess I will be
right, yeah.
learning from you then because I think I'm also an introvert, so I'm also learning how to be, you know, I believe it's all about you have both traits, but one is much more than the other.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
So when it has to come to delivering values and money, I become an extrovert, right? Right. So every time you
interesting.
see
I
it
don't
is
believe everyone when it comes to money, there's this
not
extrovert part of
really.
us that
No, I don't really because I don't really agree that everybody because of money because I see a lot of people who sell themselves short and
okay.
it takes you to have very great negotiation skills, right,
Mm,
for you to get out because some people what we do is we don't really negotiate when it comes to negotiation. And negotiation skills cannot come with an introvert because you have to look people in the eyeballs, right? And still stay polite, still smile on top of it, and then but yet still be resilient. So it's not something that comes with introverts, right? So and then we don't say, oh, but because it's money. Yes, it can really again it can open your eyes, but are you really driving conversations that prove value? Are you outspoken enough? Are you sounding confident? Because these are the things I can say a lot of things, but it's also important to really say what every single word you say, does it make sense? Does it drive value? Does it communicate? Are you a clear communicator? Because if If you're not clearly communicating, then there's also a lot of problems. So there's a lot of skills that have to come from there. So you have to actually be out of your shells. And also, like I said, build value-based relationship, right? Don't be transactional, even with your customers. You have to build value-based relationship, and there's always this person, probably maybe we know that okay, he sells sometimes more costly than others, but yet you keep going back and forth to this person because there's something beyond just that product that we are buying from them. Even though sometimes we know that they are selling, there's somebody close by, they are selling. But probably maybe there's a way we are connecting to these people emotionally, or these people are connecting some emotional, or makes us feel good, or makes us feel a particular value which is intangible. Yet that is what we are paying for, even not just the product. And that's why we keep going back and back. So really building a value-based relationship is very critical. And also striving to serve the growth objective of your customers, right? So every a majority of businesses want to grow. People want to grow. So how are you positioning yourself to serve their growth objective? Right? It's very
Hmm.
important for me. How do you position what an individual or business to serve their growth objective? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Felix. Okay, people in the house, do you have a question before I go further with mine? And we still expect you to also introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself. I mean, your name, your business, and where you are watching from. I will appreciate that. So, Mr. Felix, uh, thank you. I mean, I've been enjoying it. I want to believe the viewers too are enjoying it. So, how do, let me say, how have emerging technologies played a role in your business innovation? Because I want to believe this is what other uh, people who are in the tech, the entrepreneurship journey who also want to know, and I want to believe is an important one for them. So how have emerging technologies played a role in your own business, and how do you think it to play a role in as an entrepreneur? How do you think it will play a role in someone's business like innovation? So
So technologies of mainstream technologies of today help you keep to be in business today. And emerging technologies actually makes you to be in business tomorrow. So if you do not adopt, you will be kicked out. And for us, it's really about emerging technologies from the one, has always been what our business has built on. Starting from even our company name. The company was founded in 2020, right? In 2020, and then generative. I hardly know that maybe up to 5 to 10% of the people in the world know about generative, talk less of AI around it. And our company is generative AI, right? Founded
wow.
back in 2020. So it means that for us, we were critically positioning for not just for today to serve, but also to remain relevant tomorrow. So when we talk about generative AI, and we talk about our name generative card, right? And people will say, oh, maybe, oh, you guys just catching the feels around it. But we're not just yesterday, we're not just a year ago, we're like close to 5 years now, right? And that means that, we even went in 2021 and then 2022 and all that with open AI and all that, we have been positioned for such thing because we knew that it was the next wave thing. That's also one about Jane. So it has been very critical for us. So, and whatever we do, like I say, starting from our name, that means that every aspect of our business is enshrined about not just serving today mainstream technologies, but what is the that next big thing that can be disruptive, right? And so everything is so we have to be very agile, flexible, adaptable to, and always trying to deliver values because like I said earlier on, we need to be ahead of our customers for us to constantly keep delivering value to them. And the only one of the ways, very few ways, the way we can actually do that is always staying ahead through technologies that make things better. because that's what really technologies makes our life do. So when you say emerging, it means that these are technologies that are not yet mainstream, but actually they will take some time for adoption. And who positions them at the point of full adoption? People who are capable at that level, who have built capacity, are the ones that will be called upon to drive the adoption of most companies. So if you as a business, you are not trying to adopt and learn the technologies that you are going to serve a business, the businesses or your customers, at the same time when the customers is ready to adopt, you can't get the business because you are still a newbie. So you need to be ahead of your customers in that adoption. That's why emerging technologies are very critical for you, especially in the kind of customers and the kind of emerging technologies for your own business and your customers, right? So, and for you really to be that, it means that you need to stay ahead. So you need to, and one of the critical cultures for my business, I think, I would say this is constant learning. We live in a world today that it takes 6 months or probably less for something to get outdated. Like I probably would not be surprised that it goes down to 3 months. That something you know today, you learn today in 3 months, they're telling you is outdated, right? It's going to get to that level. So, and again, so these are the things for me. Even when we're talking about my team members or my colleagues, one of the core things that for us in hiring is also, it's not just about where you are or how intelligent you are. Yes, these things are important, but one of the key things that comes in number one is, can this person be able to have being a person that can constantly learn? So because learning is like life, just like Ethel will say, data is life, right? Learning is like life. So continuous learning, being able to learn, unlearn, and relearn is one of the core critical things. And everybody will say, "Oh, I'm not a learning person. So if I want to learn, the one I learn small, I hold its hand." I'm sorry, but some of those people might be displaced. A lot of them might be displaced, and we're very, we're looking very hard to get jobs because they have to develop the skills through learning. And learning constant, continuous learning is a skill on its own, and a lot of people need to develop because otherwise, they will be out of business and they will be out of market, even as employees.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I've been getting loads uh, of the experience, or rather, I've been tapping from the experience. Now, I also believe viewers that we have here also is been learning one or two things. So, to move forward, let's let's look at another question. Or let me ask Mr. Felix, how on can you speak to us about any strategy or strategic partnerships or collaborations that were pivotal to your success? You know, can you
That's quite
can
a
you hear
lot.
me?
When you read the profile, you will see where you mention strategic partnerships. So the truth about it is, um, we have really understood from the time we started our business. We had a deep understanding about one thing, which means that there's no two things that we discovered is our own opinion, right? That every striving businesses that have stayed there for decades have constantly done is staying innovative and collaboration, that's partnerships. That every business that have survived decades, two things that we saw that were quite very in an outer level, yes, is they keep staying innovative and they are in constant collaboration because nobody can do it all. Whatever, no matter the most valuable companies, needs within the line of value chain. If you talk about AI today and generative AI, a lot of people are in that business, but yet there has to be a very strategic partnerships because NVIDIA today is in a particular value chain of the line, providing the chips and GPUs, which Google, and the Facebook, Teslas, and the rest of them are buying. And then, so if
Hmm.
there is nothing like Apple, Microsoft, Teslas buying these products in hundreds of thousands, I think about one of the GPUs is costing around almost $45,000 for one. So imagine a company buying like 100, that's billions of naira. So imagine there is no company like, XAI or Starlink or, or Facebook and all that. What is Nvidia going to do? It's useless. Those products are useless because they are in a particular value chain. So it's a very concerning partnership. It's the same you have with Microsoft and OpenAI. They're a very one of the big strategic partners. So our business is from the day one was built on partnership. In fact, one of the things that gave us the biggest footing was our partnership with Autodex, right? Which came with that level of, it was a very tough one, but it gave us that level of branding for a new company. And then because you say, oh, you're a partner with Autotex, even the employees local, the customers locally be like, okay, even though these guys they are young people, but for them to be partners with Autotex, okay, they know what they are doing, like, because this is a global business, this is a global brand. When we talk about Dassault Systems, SolidWorks, these are global brands. Flash Forward, these are global brands. So for us to be able to have such strategic partnership, international ones, there are quite a lot of them we have, that gave us a very strategic, advantage because there were people who were doing this business who have access to the customers who we would tend to serve, but they don't have access to this strategic partnership. So even when they have the customers in their hands, when the customers request for this solution, they still come to us. So we have to position ourselves, in a very single point where we are our strength, because there's a lot of these guys probably have been 30 years, some 20 years in serving these customers, but they did not have these strategic partnerships. So when they want to buy, okay, these technologies around that, or maybe it's Autodesk, SolidWorks, they don't have these direct partnerships, and they cannot buy to the company without people who are partners. So they have to come people like us, right? So it was that key thing that even when at some point the way we positioned our business and our strategies, it actually made us to, even with the businesses that we did not develop, we did not have relationship, we can start building relationship from the upstream. So I could go on and on and on, but yes, it was very, very instrumental. Like I can stay here 1 hour talking about this partnership because, and again, we have also established a lot of local partners, very strategic ones. Some of them in the surface looks like competitors, right? But what I always tell my team and I always tell people out there is, again, we have a lot of companies in Nigeria who are doing great things, but they lack capacity in many areas. And this is why foreign companies are outweighing us. So because they come with a lot of capacities. In Nigeria, we do not have most of those capacities. So why can't I, instead of pursuing like say 10 million naira, projects or deal, because majority of this company cannot probably pursue 15 million naira, deal or surplus of 200. So why can't the four companies in Nigeria strategically partner and pursue a 200 million naira, 500 million naira project? And that will make them make more money than they probably can actually on their own. Yet they are doing more projects, they're having very significant experience, and they're making more money in partnership. But if they start on their own, they are limited on what they can do. So it's endless. I'm not saying everybody just meet anybody and just partner with you. You have to do your due diligence and also protect yourself. But yes, partnership is very critical for us.
Okay. Uh, That's that's a lot to hold on to actually. So meaning that if a business needs to continue thriving, I mean, additional value to customers and all that, partnership is also one of the key things that they need to hold on to. Thank you. And okay, comes to the next question. Have you engaged in any collaborative innovation efforts? And what were the outcomes if you have done that? So I believe viewers would like to know too. And just like I want to learn from what you about to give us. Yeah,
Okay, so this question is like an offshoot of what I already said earlier on.
exactly,
So
exactly, exactly.
yeah, so I would say that us being here having this conversation is a collaboration on its own, right? And let me explain why this is. You know, having to assess your community, which you have also built, inspired, over time. So a lot of people who probably will be watching this would do not know me before now, but they are part of your community, right? And also the kind of maybe information or talent you probably will not have it in house. And even when you have it in house, you do not want to keep recycling it because at some point it will be very boring for your own community. So reaching out to external people, just like people like me and quite other people you have been collaborating with, also offers that fresh insight and fresh things for them. So I'm just trying to, practicalize it when we talk about the collaboration thing so that it doesn't get to be like rocket science. So the same thing applies in business, whatever we're doing. And for us, collaboration is at the heart of our business, right? In fact, we discovered very early enough that all businesses strive through innovation and collaboration, like I said earlier. So it's very critical, like our collaborations with. In fact, there are companies in Nigeria who do what we do 50%, and 50% they do different things. We do different things, but the parts we do
Mhm.
different things, they do not have the capacity that we have. Some of them have a relationship that we don't have. So normally they throw away some businesses. Oh, this business come from the same clients. They say, oh, we don't do this one. We can do this one. Now that client now go find start looking for someone else. But with strategic partnership, what we now have done is you don't need to leave money on the table. This business, bring it, say you can do it, no problem. We're not going to interfere with your customer. But instead of having to lose 100% of the part you can do, why not we do it 60-40? Bring the business, manage the client, take your 40%, who will implement the project for the client or for your client and take 60%. And that's like 40% that you do not have and you will not have or you have not been getting. And it's not even costing you anything because the same customer is the people you are serving. You are serving part of them, they are coming to you, but you are now leveraging and making more money. And for us, these are customers that will not come to us, right? These are customers that will not come
Yeah,
to us. So normally, but now we are having access to them, taking significant amount of money, implementing a project, and increasing our capacities and learning and our experience, even though we have our direct customer. So for me, it's very critical. Like I could go on and on. In fact, our collaboration even in the aspect of capacities we have had to do with Gambia, outside Nigeria, Gambia, South Africa, and even down to Zambia recently. And all this is because of the capacity we have developed over the last 5 years. And then reaching out to people like you don't need to go to UK, go to US. Like certain things you probably go to UK. Who can do it for you here? And probably even more cheaper, you make more money, right? So and then even your clients will not be cut off with cost, right? And they will also understand the African context, which these guys do not understand. So there's always a value that we're bringing on board, and we say like, let's do business together, right? And then everybody's happy, right? So for us, it's really on that. So build capacities and have strategic partnerships. It has been a lifesaver for us.
that completes the other question anyway. So okay, so okay, for your own business, uh, what is your long-term vision? I mean, in a crowded market space. I mean, let me rephrase the question. What is your long-term vision for your business in a crowded market space as an entrepreneur?
Okay, so first is find something that you can do and do very well. In as much as possible, you
Mm,
want to do so many things. Find something that you can do and do very well. Be good at them, even though you can do 100 things. Find at least 30% and be so efficient in them and do it better than anybody that can do it within the same market. You will see that even your competitors will turn to indirect customers.
Hmm.
Second is this is our long time. I'm always saying our long term vision, right? So, and this is how we also there are core things. Maybe today we have not reached that 30%. We're still getting there. There are some level of things we still want to deepen our capacities and our knowledge in. And secondly, is really like for us, we are a technology firm, even though that we started off as if um we are a consulting firm, but we're actually a technology firm. So, but one good thing is, a lot of startups now, this is for them, and a lot of startups want to build those ideas and they want to get to launch them and look for money. And a lot of people say, oh, that because of money, lack of money, they cannot do this and all that. That was the same issue we had. If you wanted to jump into the awesome products we had, we wouldn't probably would have been here today because and especially we play in the hardware space. So it's very, very key. It's very, very more difficult. It's not like a fintech that you can just have an idea maybe 2, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and you just raise funds. In the hardware, it's totally different. So what we need to do is to start from the consulting point because the team has capacity to provide value. So we now use those funds. Yes, we're going on lean, but while we make those money, we now use those funds to invest in our own internal products.
Hmm.
And that has been quite strategic. Some of the people today who think that we are competitors, I keep telling my team members like, see, these guys, I don't see any of these people today that we see as competitors, because in the next 5 years, where we are heading to is totally different from where they are going to. We are a technology firm building products that will have to be within the intersection of smart hardware and software. And then one of the core things we also started with also around the ed tech is building, solutions for engineers and product development engineers that, artisan technologies around that space to be able to say, oh, you go through this course, you go through this platform, and then you can boast of 6 months experience. And we're able to be able to deliver that promise. And today, even when the platform has not been launched, we have been able to test out they even with our MVP, and we have people signed in, professionals with 20 years, 15 years experience, down to lecturers and all that. And we said, okay, fine, this makes sense because if people can see a broken system and still get value on it, imagine now when we see brush it up. So we didn't have to go all out, just to say, oh, we want to have all the whole money to build it before we start testing. So for us, like I was saying, we our future is around using technologies that we have built capacity around serving customers to build our own internal products within the hardware, smart hardware products and edtech learning technologies.
Wow, incredible. Ah, so in a nutshell, you have to be good at what you do to a level where you know that even they wake you up from sleep, it's still what you do. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
have to
Mr.
make.
Felix.
Yeah, thank you. I have to.
Sorry.
I had to at some point. You know, I was discussing with my team at some point, and I said, when you're confident that you know something is when you could be awake, somebody wakes you up, and in less than 5 minutes and asks you a question, and you're able to deliver. That is when I'm confident that you know it. Even when you're dreams, you ask that question inside your dream, and then you're able to answer that question. That means that it has come to your subconsciousness. Anything less than that, you don't know it, right? So, it has to be part of you and it has to be part of the things that you do. You breathe it and you are able to not just say, oh, I have these things, I encounter the challenge. Oh, let me go take 1 month and prepare myself, I come back. No, you're already on the ride, you're jumping into it and you're delivering value. So, yes, I agree with you.
Thank you for that loads of knowledge and the insights you gave on that. So, okay, sorry. I know I've loaded you enough today, but just wanted me to do few more so that I want our viewer to enjoy what from your experience, and I'm actually enjoying it myself because if you, I wish you can see my phone. I will be able to tell you that I have my jotter where I keep those points intact so that when I get back home, I'll go and brush my head alongside with what I'm planning. Okay, so thank you for that. So another question that always pop in my head is this, and I will put it to you straight again and say, okay, how do you, as a startup, foster a culture of innovation within your organization? So, how do a startup foster a culture of innovation within an organization? So, I don't know whether if you get the question.
Yes, so it's important to start with getting the right people, right? Because
Getting the right.
you can't foster innovation when you have the wrong people, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's very important to get in the right people. And what do we mean by the right people? Who are now like for startups? Who are the right people? People who are proactive. If you're a large organization, you can handhold a lot of people, right? And they tell them what to do, they will do it best. But as a startup, you don't need to have people where you always tell them what to do. You need people who can actually take charge of the space and be proactive, right? And also people who will be willing to be, who will be comfortable to be uncomfortable. Like
Who will be comfortable to be uncomfortable?
comfortable. Like they has to be
Wow.
like a part of the things where like even when they're uncomfortable, they are calm and serene, even in uncomfortable situations. So they're already comfortable with uncomfortable situations. Right? So you need that level of self-awareness and self-embodiment. It's very critical. And then next is really in the aspect of constant learning, like I always keep saying. Like we can't give what we don't have. You can't deliver a value that you yourself do not have. So it has to be on constant learning. Always thinking and trying to, and when we say talking about, I said, so part of what we do is for every month, every single person in the team has a learning goal, which is part of their work. It's like a task KPI for everybody. So it's not like some organization will like as if maybe you are learning, you are wasting your time. No, no, no. For us, it is part of that because we know that we play in a very deep knowledge industry. And then we cannot be always be performing and always be talking about emerging technologies and be ahead without learning. So it has to be part of the things as you're part of your KPIs of every month of what have you learned? Where are you making progress? How is that thing going to help you get better at your work and all that? So it's very critical. I think, and also lastly is really having that culture of really understanding the culture that as a startup, place and place if you're the founder or the CEO, you don't have money to spray around. Right? So don't carry pride into the whole thing. Right? Yes, we all know that you are the CEO, you are the founder, you have a title, but that title can be useless when you're not delivering value. So it's you have to like roll up your sleeves and throw away pride and work with people, connect with your people. Because at that level you don't have a lot of employees, you don't have a lot of colleagues. So it's important to really be down to earth and also and really connect to people to the point where there won't be so much of barriers. And also anybody you have make yourself approachable, that anybody at every point in time can approach you and be able to get things. And also try as much as possible to remove blockers. Set up a system that helps people to remove blockers fast. So that they don't stay 1 week, 2 weeks trying to get stuck in blockers. Like it doesn't and sometimes different all these waterfall, let's say, reporting systems can make it also very difficult. So at that point in time, you are pace, speed, velocity. No, it's not speed now. Let me be very specific. Velocity is very key, right? In as much as possible, you are offering value. Can you offering value at a very, acceleration that you're moving to the right direction. But that's why I said speed, so that's why I said velocity, not speed, because speed is a scalar quantity, right? Just like we talked in physics, right? Because speed can be anywhere. There's no real direction, but velocity has to do with direction. It has to be that displacement in a particular, direction, not just any direction. right? So it needs to be like have velocity in the right direction. So that's really like for me, it's really important. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Felix. Hmm. Oh, last but not least on my my list of questions. So it's actually something that I want to see as a closing remark, possibly. Uh, but I would have loved if viewers from the YouTube channel can give or just send a comment to us, ask their own questions, and we'll be glad to ask our guests. So for the viewers and for everybody watching us across the platform, uh, Mr. Felix, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs looking to disrupt a crowded market?
Okay, so I think every single thing, about 80% of the things we have said here, discussed here, is my advice to them, right? So is advice to them because again is you need to keep doing what serves you and serves your business. And you also need to be very agile. You need to be for aspiring individuals, don't be if your aim is at early stage is to be comfortable, please stay away from startup because you'll be a bit depressed, right? Right. If yours is comfortability at that early stage, please stay away from anything entrepreneurship because that's like a very shortest gateway to depression, right? Not even emotional because your emotions will bastardize at some point. Again, is also it's also a time where it's so I'm also another thing I want to add here is you need to be willing to like tell yourself that it's going to be tough before you start, right? Because I could remember even before starting up the company, co-founding the company, when I went into full time. That was 2020 before the COVID-19. I did some two, three, four projects before the COVID-19 and changed a lot of things. But on that January 1st, where other people were making declaration for the year will be this and January 1st, 2020, I stood up, just like a lot of people, but I was making some declarations that were weird. Somebody up behind me might be like, "This guy, are you okay?" And I say that one of the things I told myself is I had to leave it, and I've been living it throughout is that your name this year is the road less traveled, and the
Sorry, come
road
again. That name
that
is
your
like I just want to,
the
yeah.
road less traveled. The road less traveled.
Mm.
There's a book titled around that. And for every road that is less traveled, there is cobwebs, there is stones, there are uncharted paths. So you will be comfortable with those stones pitching your body. You have to chart your path because those roads are uncharted, right? So, and that's like, this is what your name this year is. Because I knew that the path I was going to be is totally going to be uncomfortable. I need to be honest with myself. And that's one of the things I enjoyed
Mm.
here, being honest with myself, because I don't like deceiving myself, because that's like a gateway to depression, right? A lot of people lie to themselves, right? And that's not also healthy. I need to be very clear. Oh, I'm going into this. This is the consequences, right? I need to evaluate the consequences and ask myself what I was willing to. It's not about, at that point in time, it's not about the benefits. It's not about, oh, what the end will be like. Yes, but there's a lot of process before the end. So we need to sit down and say, because it won't make sense to reach halfway, or 70% and quit. Then it's even worse than not even doing. So if you can't reach the end, please don't start at all. If you know that you don't have the capacity to reach the end, don't even start at all. And if you have to say you have the capacity, know that it's going to be rough, it's going to be tough. But again, is one of the biggest thing is about your resolution will keep you, and always fix yourself to the point of always reminding yourself why you started in the first place. And lastly, please enjoy the process, because just like Don Williams will say, Precious makes diamond. So a diamond and a gold has to pass through the furnace from the core through the furnace with a heated furnace, very ranges in 200, 500, degrees Celsius to be with what we enjoy as precious gold. And that same thing is what startups founders do. You have to go through that furnace. So please enjoy you in the furnace, enjoy the process. And lastly, I will say you cannot do great things without becoming a great person because it only takes great people to do great things. Thank you.
You, Mr. Felix, and that should be a wrap from my own. And I can see some of our viewers coming in and out. I want to be proud to maybe not some technical issues, and I want to believe those who are able to stay so watch us to this moment must have learned one or two, just like I have. I must say, I believe this is first time you and I are meeting in the studio, but it's not my first time participating on your program. So it's a real pleasure to meet you, Mr. Felix, and I must say you've really given a lot in terms of experiences and insights into the topic, disrupting the market, how to innovate in a crowded uh, market space. So, for our viewers, on this note, we will be drawing the curtain, and I hope you have enjoyed the show so far. And I want to believe, well, if we invite Mr. Felix again, he will gladly honor it and still want to give you loads of experiences. But before we draw the curtains, like just briefly, just tell us about your company again. Let people understand what you do and how we can benefit from you. I mean, benefit from your products or services, right?
Okay, so generative CAD, generative like generative AI, and CAD is an acronym for computer aided design. So we're not talking about generative computer aided design, right? So, so we are a product development company. So, at the heart and fulcrum of product development is design, right? So we pride ourselves as a product development company, as a customer-centric product development company. So we develop products, we help startups, especially the hardware, develop smart hardware products. We also help consult for large firms, medium and large firms, in supporting projects, especially some projects that they cannot really deliver in-house, right? So we help them with our team to be help them to deliver the such products, especially project that has to do with getting to the market, innovative, and has to be manufactured in large scale because we're very key on design for manufacturing also, especially when it comes to digital manufacturing. And secondly, also, we as a product development company, we offer end-to-end solutions. So that also makes us to offer training to people around product development, companies and individuals who are aspiring to enter into the design space, manufacturing design, or the companies or professionals who are into that point that want to upskill themselves. Or we also offer the tools and technologies like the softwares and the technologies and the integrations and all that that you were able to get out to be able to deploy or get the software. That's what we'll have some, like the Totedex and the rest of them that were on Tassos systems, we are partners. We're also into additive manufacturing big time, which is one of the most, common uh, digital manufacturing or what we call prototyping advanced tools. So we also have partners, the partnership we have with FlashForge to really be able to deliver these printers, offer technology support, and also training and solutions on how you could actually bring things from your brain, from your mind to the market. So it's for us, like I said, everything we do, all the products, all the service that we offer is within the context of product development. And all our partnerships are very strategic around it. So we are like I say, we're an end-to-end product development company. So we don't just design, we offer the tools, we offer the training, we offer the consulting, we offer the integration. Really, when you have that focus, yes, we have a core niche of focus, the way we serve the industry we serve, but in that we offer an end-to-end solution to really help them from having to think about the ideas down to getting the product solved and delivering to their own customers too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Felix. And that's a wrap. Well, you can, as you can hear from him, that's the complete profile of who he is, and as a co-founder of Generative Card Services Limited. He has given you loads of experiences. Uh, it's worth it to for me. I mean, with what I've gathered here, I can tell you a lot. Maybe I'm also an aspire entrepreneur, so I'm learning. I'm also learning. So for us at Inspire, you can always follow us. You see it, the banner is across the screen. You can always follow us at Inspire ATV to get more opportunities. Inspire is an incubation center alongside with a co-working space and incubation center. So you can come in to Inspire and book a space with us to have a comfortability when it comes to a space to work. And at the same time, you can also follow us regarding our programs. We have our dates that we run for startups, that is aiming to have a mentorship, and that's where we have when someone like Mr. Felix and the likes, who can also come in and still train you more, or rather help you build your startup from the grassroots to a pitch deck level. We have other programs like YAS, we have Break into Tech, and also we have a community as a whole, which I believe Mr. Felix also made mention earlier. So just follow us on that handle that you see on your screen, and you'll be able to get a lot of information regarding what we do at Inspire. My name is Abidogun Lukman, and I'm a program officer for Inspire Incubation and co-working space. On this note, I will draw the close and the curtains rather and tell Mr. Felix it's good to meet you, and I hope you honor our invitation next we invite you. And thank you
Thank you
for
so
coming
much.
to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's a good.
Pleasure is
All
mine.
right, so far. Thank you. So on this note, we'll allow our guests to go, and we'll also say goodbye to you. Thank you.